All right, we'll try Amy Presley again. All right, well, hey, why don't we go ahead and get started, and then if we end up with some more people joining, that's great. But yeah, why don't we just? I know a couple of you, but not everybody. So why don't we just say who we are, what we're doing professionally, and what we've done with EdCamps before. So I'm Wes Fryer. I'm enjoyed my first day of summer today, having a storm shelter installed, in which the installers cut both a water line and a sewer line, and so that was fun. But it got all done, and the plumbers came and got it all fixed. So bring on the severe weather. We're ready to go underground.
Nice.
And I've gotten to help out with EdCamp OKC 2 years and EdCamp Tulsa, so I'm happy to assist. And I've set up a website for the EdCamp Broken Arrow as well as the Eventbrite registration, and just hope tonight we'll be able to answer questions and figure out how we can move forward with what I think is one of the best professional development experiences we could be doing. So I'm so excited you guys are doing one in Broken Arrow.
Awesome. Well, I'm Tony Sappington. I work at Broken Arrow Schools. I am one of the assistant principals. I'll be the associate principal at the high school next year. My first EdCamp experience was at Jinx at the Tulsa EdCamp, and I was just amazed. I went back and told everyone that this is the best professional development that there is anywhere, anyway. So I've got some people interested. And can't wait to share it with everyone. It's what PD should look like. It's differentiated. It's the teachers get to have a voice and pick what they want to learn. So I'm really excited about it, and really excited about the connections, the people. I met both of you guys there, several other people. So I think that's huge. Just what you can learn and the people that you can learn from. So Brandon Chitty, he is from Broken Arrow. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but he's a huge help to me and to everyone that has anything to do with technology in Broken Arrow schools.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Right now I teach at Centennial Middle School, just one of the middle schools here in Broken Arrow. Been doing that. This is my 7th year. And have really integrated technology into my classroom. My biggest focus is using technology to engage kids. So not just replacing things that we've done with technology, but using things that they do or things that we can find to really engage kids in technology. And so next year I'm going to take a new position as a technology specialist for the district, and that's on the instructional side. So I'll really help the teachers really figure out kids' interests and really using technology in a way to engage them and promote better learning.
Awesome.
I'm Jonathan. Actually, I do ELA curriculum at Mustang. Got to help plan OKC and Tulsa, and I don't really know what I did. I think I'm kind of like a gopher. I think I just plug in.
Hey, you were the MC for the App Smackdown at our last.
I MC the App Smackdown. I forgot about that.
Put that on your resume. That's a big claim to fame. You can put that.
I'm trying to keep that thing updated as much as possible, so I might just throw that on there. Not a bad idea.
I'm penciling you in as MC for App Smackdown.
I like it.
Right now.
That's fine. They might get a little bit of dry humor, so if
it.
people aren't okay with that, then that's going to be a problem. But yeah, just love technology, love integrating it, love working side by side people, and like you said, like the networking is huge. Just from networking and doing EdCamps the last 2 years, I've made contacts that I can actually get in touch with when I run into problems, whereas before it was just like, you kind of like run into that wall and you're like, all right, whatever, I guess I'll try something else. But it's made it very effective to network.
Yeah.
Well, we can basically with what we've done with the other ones. Not to say we have to follow, a script, but we've created a Google Doc that was an organizer document. So we just kind of kept notes as we went along for each meeting, and that because you have different people with different schedules. And with a lot of them, like we're doing tonight, we recorded the Google Hangout. So if people wanted to see it, not that lots of people were going to be dying to watch watch it, but there's no charge for recording the Hangout on air, and so we've got this one that we'll record. I'll cut out that initial part where we were just all trying to get connected, but now that we've done a couple of these, we have a pretty good idea of what's involved. Like I said, I'm thrilled. We've got a bunch of time, relatively speaking, because Northwest Oklahoma is gonna do one here in 2 weeks, and that's gonna be pretty tough to pull off. But I think it'll work because you really don't need that much. I think the one thing from Jinx that we could have done a little more on would have been the filtering and getting everybody where they could get the schedule, maybe a QR code that linked right to the Google spreadsheet or the page, because our site actually didn't get unfiltered or unblocked, but the spreadsheet did. But Tony, what are your questions? Where do you want to go tonight? Because it's really your deal. So.
Well, man, first of all, thank you for everything you've already done, because I'm a rookie. I just saw something that I want to do because it's awesome, but I need the help to get there, and people like you and Jonathan, and I know Dan was planning on helping, but he's got to go cheer on the Thunder. I don't blame him.
That's right. I'd be there too if I could.
Yeah, I would too. But anyway, I appreciate the help. I tweeted a planning to-do list.
Okay.
I just took notes with Evernote, and so you'll see it on my Twitter account. I printed it out. I've got 14 different things here.
Okay.
And then I put question marks by the majority of them, but the first two, create website and Twitter account, Fryer, you've already done that. Create Eventbrite registration, Fryer, you've already done that. Facility request and setup, I've already done that. I put my name there. I've already got the facility request. I'll set it up the evening before and the morning of.
Okay.
Breakfast, I put my name and then question mark, because I would probably need some others to help me to gather all of the breakfast and get it there.
And I think that's good. It's not a requirement that you've got to get that, but it's nice, and we found it's not too hard to just get somebody to chip in a few $100, for some donuts and drinks and stuff. So
yeah. That's what I planned on. I can get the people that work there at the site with me to chip in and bring something, donuts or whatever. Morning of event, registration tables and name cards. I'll get some people to help me with that. Beth Johnson, she was supposed to try to link up with us tonight. She'll do whatever, so I penciled her in on that one. T-shirts, I know Dan's got a connection with Men Apparel, so I might see if he can help me out with that.
And those were really nice shirts too. In fact, that made me jealous. Yes. We had those earlier, so they just put their logo on the back, and they were real affordable. So
yeah. I've got a tech guy on site, so that's already been approved. He'll be there all day. I know that's huge, just in case we run into problems with Wi-Fi or whatever.
And I'd add to that, something that both Yukon and Oklahoma City did for us was set up a special profile on their content filter, which basically was like a conference setting. So, porn and I think porn was blocked, basically. I mean, YouTube was open, obviously Twitter. So that may be something that you could do there and have them set up. Because I think ideally, if it's just open where we don't have to put in a password or anything like that, that's great. But it varies as far as what IT departments want to do. And then also, in Oklahoma City this last year, they did bring in special access points to make sure we had enough coverage in the cafeteria, at least. They may have even brought them in. Do you remember, Jonathan? Did they bring them in for each one of our rooms, or?
I think they brought them in and also in the hallways too. It seemed like, just think about, Tony, because you guys haven't. I don't know, but I doubt that they've seen as much traffic as you would see on an EdCamp day. That much high usage, so something to think about.
Because the thing is, people will bring multiple devices, and you can, if the network isn't going to handle it, try to ask people to, but it's pretty hard. I mean, people bring an iPad, laptop.
Right.
Hey, Tony, where is this at? Where is this happening?
It's going to be on the high school campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be good. I mean, we've got a big campus. We've got a lot of kids and a lot of teachers on our campus. It's the biggest high school in the state. So
Do you
I'm not
have
saying
it?
it's perfect because we do
No.
have Wi-Fi issues every once in a while, but where we're going to be, I talked to our tech guy that's going to be there, and he said as long as we're in the area that we say we're going to be, we should be okay.
Okay.
That's good.
I'll tell you this, though. This is what's kind of scary for me. We're under construction right now, and we will be all summer.
Oh.
Yeah, we just passed a huge bond, and the areas that I've blocked off and requested are not going to be touched, shouldn't be touched. But, you know, kind of like your storm shelter, things happen.
That's right.
Construction, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way it goes. You never know.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's good to be flexible with maybe a few extra rooms. I mean, depending
Yeah.
upon numbers. I think we might have set it at 200 or whatever. I mean, that's, hopefully as these things go along, we're just gonna have more and more interest, and these will fill up. But it's probably good to have some flexibility with rooms and stuff like that. One thing with your team on site, ideally, I think if they not only can help with Wi-Fi, but if you've got speakers for PC speakers and adapters. Macs have all different kinds of dongles, and hopefully people bring their own thing. But
Yeah.
um,
That's a great point. I've requested a couple of different dongles because I know there's new ones now. In our media center is where that'll be our starting point. It's a brand new media center. It's nice. It's big. We've got a huge smart board, surround sound. So it will work great. You can connect with your laptop, iPad, whatever.
Right.
I've even used Doceri and connected on my iPad to where everyone could see. So we'll have all that. However, if we do have 200 people show up, it'll be a packed house in the media center to start out.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I saw kind of back onto the website, and one of the things we had talked about at Tulsa, and then I went ahead and did, when we learned you were doing yours, I'd already thought about doing this before, was just setting up that edcampok.org site so that whoever has one, there's no cost basically in setting up the subdomain. So if anybody else is watching this who is interested in having one of these, nobody. There's the Stillwater one. They've set up their own website, and I'm not, in not any way, shape, or form wanting to say, hey, everyone for the EdCamp has to set one up. I just wanted to provide that as an opportunity because it's pretty quick to be able to duplicate what we've done, and then just rebrand it with a new logo. But that is something. If you have anybody that wants to design a logo, Tulsa I think they had Dan's friend who did the T-shirts actually come up with a clever logo. If you want to do something like that, I mean, so anybody can. So.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine. When I looked at that list and saw that you were looking for someone to do T-shirts, I have a buddy of mine that lives in Ohio, a really close friend of mine that does T-shirts. He's a graphic designer. He does amazing stuff. So Tony, I can get with you, and if nothing else, if you already got the T-shirts figured out, he could do a killer logo.
Okay, good deal.
That'd be awesome. And if he can just send me a square version of it or whatever, we can put that on the Twitter and put that on the website. The EdCamp Apple is one that we can always grab and use. I just threw it up there to get started, but hey, that's kind of fun, and if you got connections for somebody who can do that, then that is great.
I'm going to go through the rest of my to-do list. I'm about halfway through. So I'll need someone for the night before tweet up. I really like that idea. I didn't get to participate, but it's a great idea.
Hey, Josh Williams, he's done the ones before, and he'd be a good person to get in touch with because he can also possibly be a vendor.
Okay. His
or like
account?
a sponsor, excuse me. Let me look him up real fast.
I went ahead and copied your Evernote notes into this Google Doc, Tony, and I'll share that out with you guys, and I'll I'll put. I don't know if Jonathan, if you're on a laptop, I don't know if you can click on the Google Doc. You may be able to see it. Hopefully, it shared it all. But we can put Josh's stuff in there.
And he's in Tulsa right now, isn't he? Didn't he move is he in the Tulsa area?
Well, he was trying to move into the Oklahoma City area, but I think they're still in Tulsa. Yeah.
Okay. So you might be able to actually get in touch with him locally.
Okay, good deal. And then I've got organization of session board. Just from watching it at EdCamp Tulsa, I thought it was a great idea how you guys handed out the cards. We gave input on the cards. You guys took the cards, organized it on a board, as we had an option of going to the planetarium or what was it, App Smackdown planetarium,
right.
and then rotate. So that bought everyone time to organize the session board.
Right.
An idea I had, I talked to Toby Brown about, and he was kind of throwing some names out to me to try to buy some time to organize the session board, is maybe have like a guest speaker come in and talk about, and I'm talking just briefly, maybe just a few minutes, link up with somebody on a Google Hangout in the media center, and let them talk about how important it is to be connected, and how do you build up your PLN and all that stuff. He was talking about some big name guys that would be willing to do it. Wes, I'm sure you've got some connections of some people that might be able to do that.
Or even just having people who are there, talking about being a connected educator is a really good thing, and even just having people kind of show up or stand up and say, how's it been helpful to you to be a connected educator in the last year? Hey, there's Amy, she's joining. Great. Everybody kind of does a little bit different thing when it comes to the boards and how you get that prepared. The way we've done it in Oklahoma City the last 2 years has been a little more free-flowing and open, where we basically just put butcher paper up on the wall and had people go ahead and write up a session idea. I did go to. Hello, Amy.
Hey, Amy.
Hey guys, sorry, I had tech issues.
Can you hear us?
No,
it's okay.
You're fine. I did too.
I think we're hearing your television there in the background, though. Is that?
You got some cartoons playing in the background?
Is that better?
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Wes, what'd you name that document that you created? I can't find it in my files.
Well, I just clicked. In this case, I just clicked inside the Google Hangout, and I think it might be called Shared Notes. I didn't actually name it. It just created it automatically. So.
Hangout Notes.
Okay, yeah, Hangout Notes, maybe.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Hey, Wes, before I forget, I want to share. I talked to Amy. Amy works at Broken Arrow too. She just started working here. She is a history teacher at Broken Arrow High School. Moved here from St. Louis area.
Awesome.
But we were talking EdCamp. She's been to quite a few, and up in the Kansas, Missouri area, right, Amy?
Yeah, actually, I've been to more down here since I moved down here.
Okay. Do you want to share? I'd rather you share than. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
A little bit.
Yeah. Hey, share with them what you told me about what you saw at one of the ed camps with writing the session boards on the glass window.
Oh, when I was at EdCamp JC in Jefferson City, they used just like dry erase markers, chalk markers, and instead of using big sheets of paper, they wrote on the windows, which is just...
Yeah. Well, I really like that, the open, I mean, that feels so foreign to us in education when we're very much used to scheduling, planning, doing it in advance. But it really has worked out well for us twice in Oklahoma City. It's really up to you what you decide you want to go with. But I think that is clever, being able to just write up on the windows. At Fort Worth last summer, they did a little bit of a different approach where they had colored sticky notes, and one color was for sessions people wanted to go to, and then another color was for sessions they wanted to share. And then the organizer team, kind of matched those together, so that way they could kind of see what people's interests were, and then also what people were saying they were, interested in volunteering for. Robbie Reap is watching us and just put into the Q&A how much does it cost for the room, and so this will be there won't be any cost at all for an ed camp, and the host provides, so that's the benefit of having the school. So Amy, what would your preference be as far as the schedule building and how that works based on what you've seen?
I mean, whatever the space we kind of decide on. Tony, do we agree with that kind of central vestibule area?
Well, yeah, our starting point will be the media center. So as far as using the glass windows, I think it's a great idea because I walked by there today and looked at it. You could do it on both sides of the entrance into the media center. So you've got the glass windows on both sides. Or you've got glass windows on the entire north side of the media center.
Yeah.
So you pick a window. You've got plenty of space. So I think that would be a great idea.
And then we can, take what we've done before is just kind of transfer that over onto a Google spreadsheet. So that way people have an electronic version, but usually people end up going back to see that, and that's essential.
Yeah, the electronic sheets are awesome with the share out with the Twitter because people just keep pulling it up. The other thing I thought was really cool at Oklahoma City was that big piece of butcher paper where everybody put their Twitter handles on it. Because then you kind of had a better idea who was there and who to follow.
I love that idea.
And I think that, that would be another great idea, like if you're going to do something with kind of a share where you could have somebody come in on a Google Hangout, but really even just having the people there talk about, benefits of being a connected educator or whatever. I think it is good to have your organizer team scan the board. One of the things we talked about after the last OKC one was going ahead and having people put their Twitter handles, if they were going to facilitate. That way you'd get a feel for who is there, to assist. And the one problem we had, which in the grand scheme of things isn't ginormous, but there was a guy who was a vendor who set up, and we tried to tell him not to. He couldn't have a room, so he just signed up for a different room every time. But, having a check for that, and people who went to a session loved a session, and some people said that was, it was awesome. There was one person I talked to who went to it 4 times, but it was on Flipped Classroom. But anyway,
I went to one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of eliminate that, though, if you have a group of people who are the ones who organize the sessions, not let the... you know what I'm saying?
You can, but I think it's a balance. If you have them, I think it'd be awesome to see the window idea, as far as writing those up. But you could still do that on the windows, I guess, and either have people write stuff on cards or have people write stuff up directly. It is possibly a little more inviting when people write it on cards, because to actually write it on the window, or the board, that's a little more intimidating than just.
I like the card.
Writing an idea on a card, so.
Yeah, we can write them on cards and then transfer that information onto the windows.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cards worked out really, really well. It also gave us the opportunity to scratch one if we didn't need it. It was a lot easier with the cards to take one out if somebody else kind of people double up on each other. Like we probably have 2 or 3 people that'll say, I'll do Twitter 101. And it's very necessary, but you can just put on the schedule board, all 3 of you guys are helping out instead of just 3 separate sessions. Because people want to hear each other, you give people more opportunities to spread it out a little bit, I think.
Who did the cards at the Tulsa Ed Camp? Or who would be willing to do create the cards?
We just passed out like big note cards, not 3x5s, but the one that's whatever that is, it's a step bigger. But you could even do 3x5s.
Yeah.
Right, and then just having people pass those in, and then they pinned them up, and then like Rob and I can't remember who else pinned them up, and then I put the schedule together on the spreadsheet, and is a pretty simple process when you put it all together.
I thought there were cards though that had questions written on
Yeah,
the
there was
cards.
something that had questions on it that they handed out to people. That's true.
We did an icebreaker. Is that?
No, it was it. I wish
I remember seeing something like, what do you want to see? What are you willing to help lead?
That's
And
it.
there was a third question.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Okay.
about.
One thing you might do is have a printer available. Like the one thing I wanted at Tulsa was to print out a QR code of the Google spreadsheet, so people could just immediately scan that and go to that on their phone. So that's something that we could do in advance, but it might also just be handy to, not that we want to print lots of stuff and whatever, we want to be paperless, but it is kind of handy to
Yeah.
Yes.
have that available.
But I also like that maybe combining what we're talking about with what you mentioned about, I think you said Fort Worth, Wes, of having the two different colors, so you can see the needs a little bit more clearly, maybe.
Yeah, I like that, because that way people weren't feeling like they were volunteering, or I don't know, you were. And sometimes it's good to have it up there too, like, because what you're doing is you're making the thinking visible. So if people can put their stickies up, that's not like putting it on the board, but then the organizers were kind of moving them around and organizing them a little bit. But then that would let you also see what. It's kind of neat if people can kind of see that as it gets built. So, and then if there's several things, oh look, all these people asked for Twitter 101. Well, then you can take that and put that up, put that up on the board.
Right.
So
I
explain.
mean, the only other thing that I thought of is if we're going to be in the media center, you've got that whole usually in the media centers they have that row of computers, that are just kind of like for browsing and stuff like that. Do they have something like that, Tony?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could put all of those on the Google spreadsheet and let people type the sessions automatically onto the spreadsheet. It would happen a lot more quickly, and then we could very quickly manipulate it to make the ideas connect or the sessions connect or whatever we need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
That would save a step. Yeah.
So who's on that?
There's good and bad though in terms of old school and new school. I mean,
Yeah.
It's worked out well for us just to have. I mean, Tulsa was nice. They had printed name tags. You felt like you were going to a real conference because there were all the tables that were out there. We just had name tags for people to write their names on, and then with the drawings, here's an index card, put your name, throw it in there. We tried first year we did an electronic thing where we randomly picked people, and it took a little bit more time.
And I like the name tags. We may not do a name tag that you put around your neck that's so fancy, but at least maybe a name sticker, because I thought it was pretty cool that when you're in the hallway talking to people, they have their name and they have their Twitter account, and
Right.
It's just easy.
I think it's great to experiment with things too. So I mean, if we want to do that electronic thing where you could do an electronic entry, I mean, let's try something different, because that's kind of the fun of this too, is seeing how different things work. And
Explain that electronic entry one more time. I'm taking notes.
Okay, so I was just saying that you would pull up you'd pull up a spreadsheet on say 10 different computers. It would be an open spreadsheet, but the same one because you'd share it via a link. Does that make sense?
Are you talking like a Google spreadsheet that can be
Right.
accessed?
So
Okay.
Yeah, so you just pull up the same Google spreadsheet on 10 different computers,
Gotcha.
and then they would just walk up and click on the box and type into it.
I love that. So they're typing in. Are you talking about them typing in their Twitter handle, or their Twitter handle and their sessions that they want to lead, or everything?
Right. So like you could do kind of like what Wes said is like if you're going to lead Twitter 101, and then I put my Twitter handle on there. And if you wanted to do a running list of Twitter handles, we could do a similar thing for that. We could also have them write it on butcher paper so it's big and kind of like plastered out there for everybody.
it is not. It would be nice though if those were electronic and then they were just.
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. But I go back to what you said, Wes. I do think it would be cool though to have, because not everyone that goes to these, I don't want everyone. Not everyone's on the same page as far as their comfort level with all of this. So if you do have that big butcher paper and someone's not comfortable or doesn't know what's going on with the Google spreadsheet,
Right.
they can just walk right up there,
Right.
get some contacts, put theirs up there, and then we also have that to transfer over later. So we could do both.
And I
Those are
think that,
easy.
and that's a good thing to have some organizer people, like some people basically set up to be kind of the minglers, to go and find groups of people who might not know what to do and whatever, to just say, hey, you guys want to come write something on, if they're going to do cards or on the computer, but just kind of getting people to submit some things. You might also, if you did that with the computer, if you could have that projected, so that people can kind of see that being built during that networking time, the more visible the work of the group can be in terms of the brainstorming and the ideas. I think that's all really good.
That ought to be pretty easy in that media center. There's a projector on that back wall.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I put in here as far as the schedule, and this was just a draft, and whatever you all want to do for your schedule. We had just done 4 sessions, I think, at OKC, but we had talked about kind of making the time at the beginning shorter, and then trying to fit 3 sessions in instead of just 2. So the session it's ba.edcampokc.org is the address, and I don't know how many of you guys can see the Google Doc, but I'll paste it in. But this would be 8 to 8:45 registration and networking, 30 minutes, 8:45 to 9:15 a kickoff, and then sessions that would be 45 minutes. So you'd have 3 sessions before lunch, and then you'd have a smackdown when you came back, 2 more sessions, and then prizes. Because I think you will have people leave at lunch. I mean, it just kind of always happens. But I don't know. That was just a suggested schedule based off of the idea of trying to fit in 3 and also make sure that morning time doesn't take too long, because you want to give time to network, but people are really there for the sessions. So
I agree. I copied down what you just said. I saw it on the site and I wrote it down so I could have it in front of me tonight. I love the times, and I love what you've done. The only thing that I would add to it is during that 8:45 to 9:15 whole group kickoff, opening remarks, is what we talked about earlier, having a quick conversation about the importance of being connected.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether we could do just a quick 2 to 3 minute Google Hangout with someone that maybe a big name person that everyone knows. But then I love what you said too. We could, after we hang up on that Google Hangout, we can just talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes, and then take that and transition into the Twitter handles on the big butcher paper. That'll give us some time too to organize sessions. So if we do the session cards at the very beginning of the 8:45 to 9:15. And then, from, and I haven't put this on paper, but while you, Wes, or someone's talking about the importance of being connected and also connecting with someone, to let them talk about the importance of being connected, there can be 4 or 5 of us putting sessions together after we've collected those cards. Does that sound anything at all like what we could do?
I think so, and it's kind of a proofing process,
You've got a pirate eye, a pirate patch.
I know. I just saw that Amy added her effects, so now I'm gonna get really.
Oh, what did I do here?
Yeah, this can be quite distracting. So be careful.
What did I do here?
Well, I think that over on the side there's a thing to add effects. It's like the magic wand with the.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and then you can add pirate eye patches and scuba masks and all kinds of fun stuff. So something I'd be willing to take on, and Ann Beck did this in Tulsa. Was trying to make a little video beforehand, and I mean, I just think why become a connected educator? And we could put a call out and have a few folks submit videos, and I think that's also neat. creating videos. I'm going to try to do more of that at the ed camps, just doing some short interviews with people, because those are things that people can watch later, and it'll just help, help
I love it.
spread the word. But
I love the video idea.
it also will let people who can't be there in person be able to chime in and collect their thoughts. And
Hey, and it'd probably be better too to focus on the Tulsa area people with that,
right. Yeah.
Especially since you guys had such a good turnout in the Jinx area. So I don't know, you guys might want to think about some people that you know in that area that would do that for sure.
Annie's planning on coming.
And that are planning on coming, yes, they should be there.
Well, and on that note, one of the things on the website that we have that's, I think it's been helpful, especially when we have more lead time like you do for this one, is it basically a short little, we can change the questions, but it's a getting to know you, and so people can just answer a few questions if they want to, put a picture up there. It keeps the website refreshed with some new content, but it's also a way to just build those connections, because I see that as a huge part of this, is just trying to network, teachers together and be connected on an ongoing basis, not just the day of the event.
My wife's drinking a glass of wine. It's making me jealous. Even
Yeah.
if we are on air, I'll just go ahead and say it. No, you know what, that Meet the Ed Campers thing, I remember 2 years ago, as silly as it sounds, when I filled that out, I felt like I'd won like some kind of prize when they put my picture up on there and my answers to the questionnaire. Like, it makes people feel cool. You see your picture on a website, and the other cool thing was when I got there, I knew what people looked like, which is kind of important. You've kind of like stalked these people on Twitter, and then you get to the actual ed camp, and you're like, oh, is that so and so? Is that Wes Fryer? But you know what they look like. It helps you out a little bit.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's great. The only things I had left on my list, on the Evernote list, was a list of restaurants nearby, post-ed camp meetup, and then prizes and sponsors. And I don't know that, we'll see, but I don't know for sure if we even need sponsors. I'm going to ISTE, and I'm hoping that I can come away with some stuff to bring back from ISTE that I can just use as giveaways for Ed Camp. But
I think it just really varies on how into it you want to get. Tammy Parks has helped out with the OKC, and she's like into giveaways. And so, if you have somebody that wants to take the ball and run with it, there's folks that'll give stuff. There are also, though, are some cool things, like even just little food gift cards, Sonic gift cards. Obviously, if somebody would give away some, I've never been to an ed camp where someone's giving away an iPad, so I don't know. We'll have to.
Talk to the guys who ran EdCamp Jeff City. They gave away 3 iPads and 2 Camtasia suites. It was a pretty big prize, the biggest I've seen.
Hey, that'd be a great one, Camtasia suite.
Do you have their contact info, Amy?
I'm sure I do. I bet I can dig it up.
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow about that.
I think it's really if somebody wants to chase that, because local businesses will give some stuff. There's a lot of events and things like that going on, but it may be. You could hit up the Rotary Club. You could, be creative. So if somebody wants to run with that and be creative, they can come up with some cool stuff.
Tony, I noticed you're an Evernote guy. Evernote gave us 1-month premium cards as well for OKC.
Okay. Just smile and ask nicely.
Yeah, so they've got education ambassadors, and I just contacted them, and they got them to send me some. I can do that if you want me to do that.
Sure. If you don't mind, I'll let you do that. That'd be a huge help.
That's no problem.
And whatever we get from that, if you just want to send me the logos or just whatever the names are, I'll be glad to add those to the website.
Awesome.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to bounce off here. My battery's about dead. But Tony, I've learned a lot here, and I'm gonna get with you a little bit more, learn a little bit more about what we can do, and anything else that you need that I might be able to help you with.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. I'll get with you soon. Thank you.
All right. Nice to meet you guys.
Yep.
Good to meet you.
So it looks like, yeah. I mean, I think it's great to pick a place for a post meetup. I mean, the first year we didn't have that many people. We had definitely double, if not triple, the number. The second year we did our ed camp in Oklahoma City afterwards, and the conversations at the tweet up and afterwards are, among the best. So it's always good to have food and talk. So
Yes.
All right. Well, I can throw out some restaurants and some places that we might be able to meet up afterwards that are close by. So.
And what we might want to do is just meet periodically, maybe in another 2 or 3 weeks. Or I think what I've found is it's good to just if you set a meeting, that creates immediacy for some things to keep moving forward. Not that everybody will come, not that everything gets done, but that's helped. So.
What if we all look at our calendars and then maybe sometime into this week, early next week, come up with a date that all of us can discuss again, and then see if we can get more involved on the next one. Does that sound good?
Sure. Have you ever used Doodle before? Doodle. Doodle is a free tool that lets you basically send out a meeting invite, and and then people can just say what works for them, and it just gives you a grid of green and red colors. Anyway, it's just something to, if you want a fancier way. If you don't have that many people, it's really not that big of a deal to just say, "Will these dates work?" But
okay, I'll look into Doodle. Learned a lot tonight.
One more thing to check out, right?
Yeah, even about Doodle.
One more thing. Okay. Well, I think you've got the credentials, right, Tony, for the Twitter and the website?
I do, yes. Thank you for doing that. I've got it. We're in our last week of school, so things are kind of crazy busy. But
absolutely.
Do it next week.
Yeah,
Do it all next week.
Next week I'll be able to. I haven't even been on to the EdCampBA Twitter account. I mean, Wes, you did all that work, and I'll eventually start trying to promote this thing more. I've just got to wrap school up. So.
Well, you know what? I think you got 22 people signed up. So
I saw that.
Yeah, that's great. And we didn't mention a flyer, but I would say, having a PDF flyer, especially if Brandon comes up with a logo or somebody comes up with a logo, I think that's good. And Okla Ed is growing as far as getting the word out. We're doing a little free STEM workshop next week. I couldn't believe it. We filled up in 2 days. It's just 20 people, but social media and getting the word out, all of that's getting better. So.
All right. Yeah, we'll promote it. Like you said, we've got plenty of time.
Right.
I would love to see 200 plus come. So. I think we could do that too.
Well, and something else to think about, and we did get a article in the Daily Oklahoman the week before EdCamp OKC, but so I can definitely send you it's linked, but we did a press release, and then reach out to the Tulsa World and your other newspapers. It doesn't hurt, hopefully they'll be willing to cover something positive in Oklahoma education. But I think that's another element too, because there's the whole social media side of this, which is great, but lots of people will be touched by mainstream media, so having a press release and the more you can delegate those pieces out, I think the better. But it's something good to do, because they're if one more person comes because they saw an article in the paper or they heard about it on the local public radio or whatever radio morning shows. Any of that stuff is good to get the word out.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Amy, what is your Twitter handle? I'm going to put our Twitters in here on our.
It's STL in OK.
Okay. And how about Brandon? Do you happen to know him, Tony, what his Twitter is?
If I can get to it before my phone dies, I'll.
Well, that's okay. You can tweet it to me later.
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
I'll put it in there. So. All right. Well, hey, I'm excited all to hang out.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll do it again. Thank you very much.
All right. Let us know when we'll get together again.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Have a
All
good
right.
ending week of school.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.